thing that I'm also excited about is the workshop that is coming up on the 20th of January 2022, and it's going to be continuous conversation, not from this one only, but in terms of the different, actually, let me let you chat about it. Hello everybody, welcome to Sweet Votomi. Thank you so much for joining me. If it's your first time here, you're absolutely welcome. Once again, this is a place and platform where we chat all things life. I'm joined by everybody's favorite clinical psychologist, and by everybody I mean me. So welcome, Sis Thanda.
Thank you, Kat. Welcome everyone. I greet you all and
In the wonderful name of Jesus.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
So happy new year to everybody that's been following me. If you're new, once again, you're very welcome, and I hope this year has been treating you well so far. And I thought it would be perfect to have Sis Thanda join me. As I mentioned, she is a clinical psychologist, and I think it's perfect for her to come through to let us know, give us some few mental health tips that we can implement in this year for a better 2022 actually. I've realized that sometimes we get into the year and we just pray and hope that the year is going to be better, but how many of us actually put in or do things differently to get a different year? Because it's not actually what happens to us, but it's how we react to all that we experiencing that is going to ensure that we're in a better mental health state, and also that we thrive mentally. So she's going to come through and give us those mental health tips. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so Sis Thanda, tip number one.
The first thing I would say, work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle this time to our usual mental health tips. Working on yourself helps you in a sense that there are things that you've been struggling with, things that you have hindered the progress in your life, and you know you want to do something, and part of it maybe you may find that you've been depressed and are experiencing a whole lot of other negative emotions because you feel like you can't move forward. But it's not always that it's other people that are responsible for your lack of progress. Sometimes it's yourself. So it's important to sit down, take stock of your own self, and see the things that need to be improved in your life. You can get someone actually to help you with that. That's where a therapist comes in, you know, or a good trusted friend. You know, it could be your pastor, it could be anyone, but someone who will be able to say, actually, I've noticed this and this about you, and these are the things that you may need to work on. So first thing, work on yourself.
What does that look like? Am I working on the things on myself that I don't like about myself? Or is it school? Is it family? What does working on myself look like?
I think you would first take stock of how did I struggle or find myself struggling in a particular thing. You know, what is it that has made me to struggle? So it could be then that you're working on your personality, you're working on your habits, you're working on your character,
Like
you know, things that you can change, you know, which is the second point, but things that you're looking at and you're like, I sleep a lot, and at the end of the day, I don't get my work done, and when I don't get my work done, then I get frustrated, and when I'm frustrated, then I feel like I'm a failure. You know, it just goes on and on and on. But you look at it and you find that, okay, it's a habit of actually procrastinating that's been causing me to struggle in certain things. So be honest with yourself, find out those things that have really been hindering your progress.
Love that. And what would be your second tip?
Well, the second tip for me would be change the things that you can change. And people are not part of that.
So you can't change people around you. You won't be able, sometimes might even not be able to change the situation or the environment that you're in.
Yeah.
But you can take autonomy because you can change certain things that are around you.
You can change certain things, you know. Let me maybe even use the example that I used earlier. You know, you get to school or to work late, and your assignments are always late. Change those things, because when you struggle in a certain area, it affects your mental health. So change whatever that you can change. If you need to change a job, if you need to change a career, if you need to change schools, school parents are involved, but things that are within your control, sometimes you just need to change your attitude towards things. The attitude is still within your control. There's certain things that out there, they will not change. People will not change unless they are also working on themselves, so you can't change them. But I'm trying to bring a thinking that says, this year, try not to focus on other people's doing and focus on what you can do, and do that which you can do, because you have control over that and not over every other person.
I love that. And I think it's important also that the things that you can't control, you can just give them to God and say, God will do this, but in the meantime, I'm going to do what I can. And maybe you'd start to see that the things that you are able to change will change your perception and even how you feel about a lot of things in different situations. And what would tip number 3 be?
I would say study, learn, find a thing new to learn. This one does not only take care of your emotions, but it takes care of your brain. And you need that brain for the rest of your life. And so you're investing in yourself. We're living at a time where education is looked down upon as, there's nothing much that you can do with your degree, with whatever. I would like to challenge you to study, not because you want a job, but to study because you want to help your brain. A brain is like a muscle. Kat, if we keep exercising it gets stronger and stronger, and so at a later stage, it prevents us from getting disease like dementia and Alzheimer's, or it postpones them. Maybe we would have gotten that when we were 60, but we could then not get it when we are 80, or never get it at all, because you keep exercising this muscle. So study, learn, do something. Find something new, or learn a skill, learn a piano, learn a, I need to learn how to do a YouTube video. Not that I will be doing one, but, find something new to learn. As you do that, it helps your brain to be stronger, because also your emotions are held in your brain, so that would be a good thing to do for your mental health. You can decide to say, I hear a lot about fuel prices and things like those. Let me get how it affects the economy. How do we get to a point where the fuel goes up and down? So as you do those little things, your brain is assisted, because it needs to grasp new information and process it and things like those. So it doesn't need to be a school project. It can just be a topic that you are interested in, and decide to find more information on it, articles, reading books about it, and that will help.
I love that. Moving on to the next point and tip, what would that be?
It is related to the one that I've just mentioned now, to find something to do, something that is rewarding for you.
I like that.
Okay, so I'm sure you have heard, for example, of runner's high and things like those. There is something addictive about achieving a goal. So set little goals for yourself and endeavor to do that particular thing. Maybe start a blog, or just start something new that you can do. And as you do those things, as you prosper or as you succeed in each and every one of them, or some of them, it helps you, it boosts your endorphins every time you succeed. Your emotional well-being is also boosted because of, like I'm saying, the endorphins and all of that. You will see that you get some people that we call overachievers. Sometimes it's not that they are really overachievers, but that kick that they get from getting a success over and over, it just draws them to do more, to do more. So the more they succeed in something, the more they solve a problem, the more they want to do something else, the more they want to do something else. And then we look at them and say, these guys are overachievers. But sometimes it's based on that, to say, every time they do something, you know, someone starts running or walking a kilometer, and the next time they're like, oh, I felt good, you know, I want to walk too, you know, I want to walk again, I want to do this again. So find something to do, because that not only helps, you know, your body and your mind, but it also helps you emotionally. The more you do certain things and succeed in them, then the happier you feel, you know. So this is the happiness that is in your hands. You know, the happiness that you can control, that no one else can. If you do fail in those things, remember why you started. You started it for your mental well-being. So why stop while you still are alive and needing your mental well-being? Go on. When you reach a hurdle, you will find that you need to push so that you can get to that high, and then, you know, go ahead and carry on.
I like that, and I like the example that you used about walking. And sometimes you might even set a goal that eventually becomes difficult for you to achieve or whatever. But I think it would also help for you to look back at where you've started. You started with a walk, and maybe now you're at a running place. And maybe even if you're not running at the pace that you want to be running at, you can look back and be like, you know what, I started walking at some point in time. And it doesn't have to be running. I mean, we just speaking running because that's something that we do, but it could literally be anything. Like you say, if somebody starts a vlog and maybe, you know, at some point 10 people are reading it and they thought maybe 20 people would read it, you look back and say, at some point I wasn't writing anything at all. So you've moved forward.
And you can even look at the way that you are writing 2 months later and look at your first writing and you're like, oh wow, the way that I express, the way that I research more now, you know, and that on its own is very good for you.
Love that.
Number 5. Get enough sleep.
Okay. I'm happy about this.
Get enough sleep. This is also for your brain. Just like the reading and studying, it's also for your brain. There is a thing that we do, you know, trying to be achieving in life, and we rob ourselves of sleep. The brain does not replenish unless we are sleeping. So if I'm studying and I'm taking a break and I go watch TV or I go, you know, on social media, I am resting just in terms of assimilating new information, in terms of studying, but the brain is awake, it's working. Unless you are sleeping for a particular period and you let your brain cells, you know, replenish and all of that, unless you are doing that, then your brain is not resting. And if it is not resting, you are slowly damaging it. You are slowly eating away its capacity. And if its capacity is eaten away, your emotions are also affected. You know, I don't know, you get this thing as well of when you didn't get enough sleep, you wake up groggy, you wake up, you know, unhappy, you wake up unable to concentrate and do the work like you're supposed to do. And that just affects the rest of your day, and you feel like, but I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and that affects your mental health because you have not done the work that you could have done if you had allowed yourself to just sleep and let your brain rest and replenish the way it's supposed to. The brain, I think, and the heart, sorry to be so physiological, the brain and the heart are the two muscles that we really need for our life. And so if we don't take care of those, we do take care of our heart. We exercise, we know we should be exercising, we eat well and all of those things, but when it comes to this muscle, the brain, we really don't take care of it. And sleep is just one of the best ways of taking care of it. When you're sleeping for that 6, 7, 8 hours, and then others would say, if you're sleeping 8 hours, how are you going to get rich? If you're sleeping those 6, 7, 8 hours, you are allowing your brain to just do the work that it needs to do to repair itself and to prepare you so that when you wake up in the morning, you do the work that you're supposed to do. So you can be rich but then end up in a psychiatric or you know, care center later in life because your brain was not taken care of, well, you'll go to the best facility, I suppose, with all the money that you have.
Right.
Yes, but as well, death will be quicker, if I can put it that way.
I think I like this one because sometimes I think even for me in school, I remember so well in high school, it seemed like it was a competition for who didn't sleep, a certain amount of hours. And as I grew up, I realized that actually there's no trophy for being the most tired person on this planet. Tip number 6.
Tip number 6, study people. A lot of our stress comes from interpersonal relations. So when I'm saying study people, study the people that are around you, so that you don't have knee-jerk reactions whenever they do them. Whenever they do them. So sit back and try and find out, how's your mom like? What makes hectic? How's your dad like? What are the things that make him upset or happy? In what context does he, throw tantrums? And your boss, that goes for your boss, that goes for your friends, that goes for everyone that you interact with. I normally use this unpleasant example of a traffic light, that when you know how to drive and have your learner's license and all of that, you know that there's only going to be 3 colors that you're going to get there. You're going to get a green, you're going to get an amber, you're going to get a red. And whenever you approach, you're expecting any of these. And you don't work yourself out emotionally whenever red comes up, because you know that it's a traffic light, it's going to give you red at some point.
I like that,
and so when it's red, you just cool down, act accordingly, and when it's green, you cool, act accordingly. So same as people, once you've studied people, and most of the time people don't change much, so your boss, unless he's working on himself, he's likely to be working for the better. But for those things that usually rile you up and make you feel so uncomfortable, feel agitated and all of that, sit back and study the pattern of that person, so that when you approach them, or when they approach, you already in your mind have preempted to say, it's either I'm going to get this or this or this or that with them.
I like that.
Let me just prepare myself to get whatever that you get, and then when you get it, you just act accordingly, and it doesn't become like an emotionally agitating thing and things like that.
Love that. And bring us to the last tip, and that's tip number 7.
Yes, and I will be quite short on this one. Accept that people may need grace. People are going through the same things, same struggles as you are, so from time to time you will find that people will not act in the way that you expect them to act. So if you accept that you're going to have to exercise grace from time to time and understand that, it helps you, because then when they do things that are not supposed to be done, yes, you will correct where you're supposed to correct, but here we're talking about your mental health, your level of agitation and upset about things that other people do. So you just need to remember that not everything that people do is about you. Sometimes they're upset elsewhere, and they're carrying that with them. I think Pastor Tebu once spoke about monkeys, that sometimes people give you their monkeys. And he said, no,
so true.
Don't let them give you their monkeys. Just understand that you have your own monkeys that you're carrying around. They have their own monkeys, but if they behave in a way that is sort of giving you their monkeys, then don't take those monkeys. Just understand that people are going through stuff. Oh well, I don't know what upset you, but I'm not going to be involved in whatever that upset you. What can I do for you? What can I help you with right now? And not take everything personally. I think that's where I'm going.
I'm loving all of these tips, and I'm sure they're going to make for a better 2022. But another thing that I'm also excited about is the workshop that is coming up on the 20th of January 2022, and it's going to be continuous conversation, not from this one only, but in terms of the different, actually, let me let you chat about it.
Thanks, Kat. So basically the workshop was spurred on by the frequent questions that I got from different people about the careers in psychology. And so I thought, let's come together, because the more people ask questions as well, others are going to benefit from those questions, instead of us dealing with one question at a time. So we are going to be talking most things psychology. We're going to be talking about the categories in psychology, because there's about 6 of them, but also there are other specialties that are not even in the HPCSA, but there are specialties that we are practicing in South Africa. We're going to be talking about funding. We're going to be talking about the minimum criteria for varsity entrance and things like those. So basically, we are just going to be talking about how to become a psychologist in South Africa and what you can expect when you are a psychologist. Because it doesn't end with just studying. Then after studying, what is it that you can actually expect? So we're going to be talking about that, and I'm sure that the time will not be enough, but we will see. It's really up to you, the viewers or the people that will be joining us. If you want a second of that, we'll do it. But for now, just the 20th at 7 o'clock. That's where we'll be online.
Love it. And one of the tips that you did give was, about learning something new, about making sure that you keep your mind going, that you study something and you learn about something. And why not put it into action? Why not put it into practice by joining us on this workshop? It's going to be a lovely one. I'm excited to learn more about what there is to expect. And in terms of the people that can join, is it only just for people that are interested in becoming a psychologist one day?
No. So anyone that is just interested in what is this psychology thing, because I think it's been the buzzword of late, especially with COVID coming in, mental health has been really been spoken about even more, which I'm excited about. It's been spoken about more. So there's people that would be asking themselves, okay, what's going on? What do these people actually do? Do they just sit there and ask,
how do you feel?
So that is then everyone is invited, parents, students, those that want to change careers, those that have been frowning upon this this career to say psychology, come in, join us, just hear what it's all about. So everyone is invited.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Sis Thanda, for always coming through. You are my favorite clinical psychologist. No offense to anybody else that I know. But everybody, till the next video, thank you so much for joining me, and love you lots. Have a blessed whatever day of the week it is.